Jambo Africa. Oh wow, today. Hey. You back, okay?
Back from Nigeria. Back. No, so happy to be back. You know, I miss you guys. I miss everyone. You know.
3 weeks, eh?
Top.
Oh man.
And three weeks of great.
No. Welcome back, man. Welcome back. What's our fufu?
No, I have to make it. You know,
he didn't bring it.
Soup. You need to take it to Pandediam.
Well, that's welcome to yet another edition of African Football Connect, as we welcome back our brother here, Greg Gitafia, 2000 Olympian with the Nigerian Under-23 national team. When I say 2000, now you understand that. I mean, he wore those green and white colors proudly when it was still really fashionable and very difficult.
Strong team.
Very strong team. So, no. It's not a manga business. No.
Real stuff.
Real stuff.
The real McCoy.
He's been on the bench with the great JJ Okocha, Ranko Kanu, Sunday Olise, Daniel, the Bull Amukaji. Hey man, Wani. Peter Rufai. Okay.
If he said yes, I was going to say,
No. But Vincent Nyama, you've been on the bench in the dressing room with Vincent Nyama.
Yeah. In Tunisia, 2004, the AFCON. Yeah, in Tunisia, you know, we came third with the likes of Osaze Dewinji, Yakuba Yegbeni, Celestine Babayaro, Joseph Yobo, so there was a lot of good team that time.
You know, people like you have lived in life.
No, we're just fortunate to be among that mix. But Vincent didn't give us chance. Vincent, I always tell him up to tomorrow. I say, my friend, no, you cannot come the same era with us.
With me.
No,
he killed you, eh?
So with Vincent, you knew that you were just honoring a collab.
Sometimes we tell him that no, stay. This one is for us. Friendly game, you want to come. Everything you want to come. We say no. Allow us to play something. So what are we going to play now? You know, I mean, he's a great guy, man. He's very well for the Nigerian national team, and he's a legend. He's a great legend.
It was like playing with Kune in the same era.
Yeah, I mean, those
you don't have a chance.
You know. This guy don't get injured. He's on form every time. So what do? You just come for holiday and try to support him.
You'll be a sparring partner in boxing.
Yeah, no, but there's all plenty to talk about and look forward to, especially when we look at the FIFA Club World Cup. Well, it looks like African teams are coming back, one by one. So we'll just have to see, but we still have hope on the Brazilians, Mamelodi Sundowns, when they meet the real Brazilians in Fluminense. We'll talk about that.
It'll be a samba affair.
Also, we saw Wydad already confirmed as the team that's going home, and also with Ahly as well.
Yeah.
What has been your impression? I can see you slept around 5 a.m. This morning, just like myself. What has been your impression of this tournament so far, especially seeing our teams exiting? I mean, I was watching that Ahly game.
Yeah.
Those guys, Ahly, Zizo.
Yeah.
You missed that
Management.
game. Ahly could have easily scored 10 goals. 10, like that's the number of sitters. I counted out 5 to 6 sitters that they missed.
You can see the impact of the coach. You can see he's trying to stamp his authority in terms of how he plays and how he wants his team to play. But generally in the whole African team, I think we should be proud of them. I mean, okay, Wydad and Ahly, they're coming home, but with their head high, because they did very well. It's not like going there, like getting 5, 6. They were, even. Borussia Dortmund could testify against Sundowns too. The 4 African team, I think they really did African proud. But unfortunately, some teams need to qualify to the next stage, and some teams need to go home. I just feel like Wydad and Ahly, they must be proud of themselves. But we're hoping now at least one of African team can go further.
But I'll look at Losh. Last week we spoke about Losh here, and oh boy, 2 consecutive games now. Impactful and even scoring in this game.
Talking about scoring, well taken goal, because ordinarily especially for a South African player, will just blast the ball against the keeper. He was intentional. He knew what he was doing. You chip it or dink it, and then over the keeper, and then it's a goal. It was a beautiful goal. He's playing very well. The confidence is there. It goes back to what we've been talking about here, that maybe a change of scene for a player can do him wonders. I don't think he will be playing like the way he's playing now if he stayed at Sundowns. So good for him. I'm hearing a lot of people talking about him, maybe changing clubs and stuff. I'm just not sure. Because if you check, bigger European clubs normally go for younger players. He's not young anymore. But for a South African perspective, I don't know what they think of the coach, Bafana coach is. You would feel that if he goes back to the club and continues to play like this, he's somebody who will give coach Hugo Bruce a very, very serious headache. Because he's somebody who, at the form that he is now, playing at that level, surely he can duplicate the same for the national team at an AFCON. He's doing very well for himself. And just reflecting generally on the tournament, I think the gap is closing a little bit on African teams and the bigger teams in Europe or elsewhere in the world. Gone are those days where we used to go there, we'd be beaten 5-6. I know there has been one or two big scores involving our teams now, but if you check on the balance of play, our teams are well coached and they are more professional now, and they do compete against those bigger clubs from elsewhere around the world. And I think in no time we should be able to compete against them. Look at how Sundowns fought back. Against Dortmund, and ordinarily they will drop their heads and just go lose by a bigger margin. But they fought, they came back, and while doing that, playing very good football. I know some people are saying you don't win hearts, you win matches, but they were very, very good, easy on the eye. And I'm happy with the way they're playing. The gap is clearly very close against the top teams around the world.
100%. Yeah, in fact, when you speak about the matter of Losh, remember we even discussed this last week. Apparently, even before this tournament, there were a lot of offers already for him. Because the good thing about Losh is that he's coming to this tournament already on form with Wydad in the league, how he's finished. But I think that he's just taken it to another level, and also being close to the Gulf region. The Saudi Pro League. And also remember, there are also the Saudi League Pro teams there. There are also UAE. So, and looking at his age, it's also time for him to make money.
That's the perfect direction for him to go.
Yes.
And for a player like him, I think the right time is now because he's on form. And Sundowns must just be they must accept that they're going to lose a good player because he has done very well for Wydad. And going to this tournament, he showcased superior man of the match. Twice. Something shows that he has the ability, and you can see he play with no fear. He play with enjoy. You can see he's happy, and most of these European teams, even not going to England or there's French team. You can go to Norway. You can go to Belgium. There's Anderlecht. FC Bruges. There's teams that you can go and play. Because for me, I just feel like to better Bafana, to better you as a player, you need to challenge yourself. And going to Europe is one of the great things that will happen to his life. And it's time for him to make money now.
Yeah, in fact, that's also very interesting because Wydad, I think they had an option to buy, but I don't think they can afford now in terms of the offers that are coming in. For what I know that they would like to keep him longer. But I think they face stiff competition, and you can tell Wydad also they're not strong on this side because most of the players they bought, they didn't buy them.
And also the other thing that may make it tricky for Wydad is Champions League.
Yes, there's no Champions League.
So he may want to go to a place where he can, even if he goes to the Gulf region, go to Champions League there. I don't
because even with Mailula has got a lot of offers as well. In closer to in Europe now. So it's going to be very interesting. But you watched, and I think it's a good thing that the big boss, the president at Ahly, Mohammed Al Khatib, Captain Bibo, through the board also, they've already said that the results don't matter in this competition in terms of coach Jose Ribeiro, which is a sensible thing
Yeah, it's good
to do. You
have to back your guy.
Yes. But watching them, what are the key areas now? Do you think he needs to work on them as he prepares for the next season? Especially maybe looking at how he considered.
Yeah, I think, for me, basically you have to, look at the goalkeeping side, the age.
El Shanawi,
Yeah, El Shanawi really.
It's about time. No, they also considered this morning.
No.
He saved them, don't forget the first game, he did very well. Even
Yes.
save, he did very well. The last save he made before the ended 0-0. But at this game, I think he didn't bring his A game, and you can see he has been there for a very long time. You just need some competition. And, with the coach coming in, I just think defensive-wise, they were just so bad.
Yeah.
Playing-wise, attacking-wise, they score. Because if you can score 4 goals, I mean, you should be winning that game, but FC put to their good side. But if you see where the goals are coming from, you can analyze it and say, okay, 1 or 2, he can do 1 or 2 better in terms of how he approached. Because he was not diving, he was just looking at the ball and the ball going. And if you make an effort, at least as a goalkeeper, you dive, you could you do better, but not just looking at the ball going in. And out of the 4 goals, I think 2 we could have done better. But I think with Ahly, attacking wise, they have a lot of good things in them. But defensive, you need to work more on the defensive side because Ahly have won the Champions League, which it's 12 times. They're going for the 13th time now, which is going to be judged on that. Forget about the Club World Cup. But now going back to the league, the cup, the league, Champions League, all those ones, he's going to be judged on that. And, don't be fooled, in terms of the, North African management, they will tell you that, no, it's okay. It's not okay. When things are not going well, they'll still bring it back. And, especially with the legends, they always put
They're
on
preparing.
This. I just think now he needs to start winning, but it's going to be tough for him to even qualify. But at least he's out now, going back to the league and Champions League and the cup. He has to win something to give 100%. To give them confidence in terms of the management.
Yeah, no, very interesting. As we move, there's also some very interesting games still to come. But I think when it comes to Esperance, you can see that they've already been knocked out.
No, they're playing their last game.
Their last game, but already.
If they win, they have a chance to qualify.
They won their last game.
They lost one.
Yes.
They're still in it. Them and Sundowns that were hope now. But at least we want one team. One
team. Yes.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but and Zuzo, Esperance against Chelsea. Another person will say, it's a foregone conclusion. What do you think is important for them in that game?
Yeah, it's not played on paper, but it's going to be a tall order. It's going to be a tall order.
Because the interesting part is that they are both level on 3 points.
Yeah, So they have to get a result.
Which
makes it very interesting. I think. As we have already said here in the past that the guys must not play with fear. Sometimes we go to these big tournaments against these so-called big teams and we sort of undermine ourselves a bit. In terms of quality, I've seen in this tournament, there's not really too much gap in terms of quality on the pitch. Some people are making an argument that maybe most of these European guys are coming out of a long season, but we also have come out of a long season. Everybody's been playing the whole time, so I really don't have too much doubt in terms of quality. You look at
the only ones who are not coming, they're in the middle of their season, is the South Americans. Especially the Brazilians. But Africa and Europe,
it's the same thing. You look at the performances of someone like Lucas Ribeiro, for example. That guy can pretty much play for almost any team that is there in the tournament now. So we mustn't undermine even Sundowns. When they go to that match, they really should play the normal way that they're used to play and take the game to these guys and play. It will be a samba thing, both Brazilian and Brazilian, we should make it for a very, very nice game of football. And it's just to go there and really impose yourself and don't be scared. And they've played 2 matches already now. This is the third one. You can't say there are jitters, you just need to get used to it. I know there's a factor of the heat, but these matches are also obviously played a little bit later there. So it won't be like the early kickoff where it's too hot. So those factors will not really come into play that much. But for Esperance and Sundowns, just go there, do your thing.
Correct.
Let's have one team going.
At least, let's have one team coming out from group stage, at least.
But if there's one team that is standing a very good chance, when you really look at how things are going, it is Sundowns tomorrow, because against Fluminense.
I think everyone is very proud than the team. I think we learn too much things, because when you play this big team, you learn about different things, and then I think you can put new lessons for this next game against Fluminense. This is the highest level possible. This is big challenge, but I think when you arrive here and you play these games, you can see as Mamelodi Sundowns have a good level for competition, But the big tournament. Yeah, I watch too much games in the free time. I watch too much different football, but it's too much competitive also. It's too much different. When you see the game from South America against Europa, but you see similar competitive. You see the similar quality. You see too much good things.
Just a second last question. What do you expect from Fluminense?
Yeah, I think this guy is watching your game against Dortmund, and then see we have a good things for play against Fluminense. I think it's a good game. It's a nice game because it's both teams identified like Brazilian.
Yeah.
And then both teams play with possession. I think it's a good game.
Okay. Anything, maybe any players that we should look out for from obviously that Fluminense team, that you know them, or any players that you think maybe we need to look out for?
I think everyone is a good player because you need good level for play for Fluminense and play World Cup. But there's different players. John Arias and Thiago Silva is good players. And the midfield also is Martinelli. I think you need more attention for these guys. I'm so proud the fans travel to stadium, to American for support us. I think this is my message. Support us. If we have more stronger, more force.
Yeah.
To play against another teams. I think thank you. I say thank you for this support, and thank you for everything.
Sundowns, they beat Fluminense. They know that they've qualified.
Yeah.
And I think at this stage, looking at the performances, anything is possible. I mean, I was looking at, taking nothing away from Fluminense, I was looking at the performance against Ulsan HD. You could see that there are some elements where Sundowns can take advantage of.
Yeah, I think so. Sundowns, I mean, my game, against Dortmund, the one they play, I think they did very well. Taking out the mistakes they make, I think, they're really standard team. Even Dortmund have to give them credit. Even you have a team like Dortmund playing for time. You understand? Sure, you can see the quality of Sundowns. Sundowns players, all of them, they're international players. And if they can bring that A game, the same energy, play against Fluminense, I think they can get something in this game. Winning the game is going to be the ultimate, for them to qualify. But if you want to give a chance, I think Sundowns are the two African teams that are left now. Sundowns are the one looking most likely that's to go through.
And this players will spell all the way to the bank.
Yeah, definitely. Going to the bank.
The players will be smelling all the way to the bank.
because it starts by winning that game.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then when you win, just to proceed, there's also
Oh.
money just to proceed
God.
before you even play.
All of them will pay off their houses, I can tell you that.
Imagine you come out from that group, Yeah, I think it's gonna be a very good team for at least one African team.
Yeah,
We just,
one.
Advocate for one African team to do us proud, to give us, that what they call it, that expectation again, the next tournament. At least we know that other African team can do better.
Yeah, actually, I was watching your interview on your other platform with Figo. Hey, when you guys were talking bonuses, like, those boys bonuses, they're killing it.
This more they go for holidays in Sun City. Those ones are going to Italy.
Those guys are going to Italy. They go to Dubai. What are they go to Mpumalanga?
Oyango used to tell me, Dennis used to tell me that most of the time when the season starts, when they month end they don't touch their salary because bonuses,
It's enough.
Month end they don't touch their salaries.
If you win 3 matches in a month,
you
are fine.
bonuses and the Champions League,
Including school fees for the kids. You're done.
So, but nevertheless, apart from the money wise, generally, going to that tournament, showcasing yourself, I mean, there's a lot of.
But the standard,
Yes.
you can see the standard, and you know what? You must work for something.
Yeah.
To be at that level,
Yeah.
you must work for it. So
Because it's a reward for consistent performances in the Champions League.
Yeah.
And we can't overemphasize enough for the bigger teams on the continent to aspire to play in the Champions League. It's very, very important.
Yeah.
100%.
Please tell the Nigerian
Yeah.
teams.
Is
They
there
don't want to- they don't want-
is there any major tactical? Because it was interesting because the coach only made one change against Dortmund. But is there any major tactical switch he has to make, especially considering that Dortmund and Fluminense are two different sides?
Yeah, I think, Brazilians, they're more technically, they can play, and set piece, they're very good on set piece, most of their goals they score through set piece. But I mean, with Sundowns, I just think, Jordan, for me, he needs to start, but I don't know how to, rotate it because you have Mokwena, you have Allende, Zoani is there. Zoani, I mean, is top, he's top. No matter what you say, he's just top. You need to allow him freedom to play. But you still have that, the up fronts there, the Reynas, Ribeiro, and Matthews.
Ribeiro.
But I don't know. I think Peter, in this game,
Mutiba.
in this game, I don't know what the coach is thinking, but I think Peter needs to come in. I mean, his speed.
But there's a strong talk now of Peter exiting.
Yeah. But
So you can see the way they're not even showcasing him in this tournament.
But he has to. I mean, you're playing a tournament to win. It doesn't matter if the players need to leave, but win games. So if you need to win games, he's gonna add value. Play him because I think Peter have that, ability to score goals, ability to run behind the defenders, and playing at the back. The coach needs to just tweak it because this European team, they don't miss chances. It's not like when you play in African League or you play in Champions League. Any mistake is going to be a goal. So playing at the back is Sundowns style, but you need to adjust it now.
Yes. Look, we were in a press conference, online press conference with Niko Kovac, the coach of Dortmund.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and he told us that, look, they had been monitoring Sundowns. The analysts have been following Sundowns. So you can see even the pressing.
Especially in the first half. They
Yes.
didn't allow them to.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at this level, even with Fluminense, they will go there having watched Sundowns, right?
Yeah.
But I think one of the things under Coach Cardoso is they've also tried to vary their game.
Yeah.
With Mutiba.
With Mutiba, yes.
Yeah.
Well, to people like Kaya, they will say, no, Sundowns, they're playing scope and yak and what.
Yeah.
But it's the game. You must adjust. You must. You come with different variations. In this game.
No, you have to. Even though my sense will be Sundowns Fluminense pretty much the same style.
Yes.
Where I know Tamba didn't have the best games in the last match.
Yes.
Coach will be sitting with a headache to say, what do I do? But I think for a match, a team like Fluminense, where you need to spend a little bit more time on the ball, you would need someone like Mshishi to be able to dictate terms.
Yeah.
Maybe later in the second half, someone like Jaden Alonso can come and continue where he left off. but you can feel that the system will pretty much remain the same, or the personnel. Bar maybe one or two changes there. I don't think Mutiba will probably start, because against Fluminense you don't need to, and then.
Yes,
But the other thing again, he needs to give other players. I mean, he has played 2 games. The Obas are there. You cannot take 23, 24 players to tournament.
No. Now I understand. We are playing a must-win game, and you've been starting with these players.
What do you do?
They're tired. They're tired. Because they're tired.
But-
you need to adjust. Not too much changes.
But this seems to be your trusted starting lineup.
But
Sometimes we're talking
maybe
about-
coach has got a point, because also if you check lately now, Allende has been found wanting a bit. Maybe rest him and give somebody else a chance.
Motiba is
You know?
there. What is the
Motiba.
Not Motiba. What's his name? The centre back.
Grant.
No, Mvala.
Mvala is there.
Mvala is
Play
there.
Mvala there for set piece because it's gonna be tight. You know,
Yeah.
it's gonna be
Because
tight.
this team is stronger in set plays.
Yeah.
They're very, very strong.
yeah.
They're very, very strong, you know. And Sundowns, they don't have that height, you know. Kekana and, I mean,
Kubido.
you know, Kubido. You can balance. You have to choose one of the centre back.
Yes,
Just to give, I mean, you cannot travel all the way to America and just play 11 players.
Motiba, has he kicked the ball in this tournament? I don't remember even
No, Lunga,
him
I mean,
coming.
Lunga is
No.
top.
Lunga
is top.
Lunga
You
has
cannot- you
been.
cannot
No,
touch-
I'm just saying.
You can find a position for him. You know.
Yeah,
He
because
can play.
sometimes he's
He plays
also played in
more
the
at
midfield.
advance.
Yeah, he can play
That
there.
inverting thing that he does
You know,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think I agree with you on the issue of playing from the back, but I guess sometimes the habits are difficult.
Die hard.
Yeah,
But you see, sometimes you don't-
because I see that sometimes because they dominate the Bafana national team.
Yeah.
The Sundowns players, you see them, especially because the captain Ronwen is the one who starts
Yeah,
playing.
he started.
So he is the one who's going to lead.
Yeah. But they overplay it sometimes. Sometimes you need to overrate it. Sometimes you need to play. You know, I see a lot of teams like Dortmund, they did that. You know, Chelsea. Sometimes when the team press high against them, they just play a long one for the striker to play it off the number 10.
Because I saw that from the people who, I wouldn't say people who invented it, but people who were more on it.
City
The masters of tiki-taka, Barcelona.
Yeah.
You know, they would play, try and come out of a press, diagonal ball.
Yeah.
Even from the days of Daniel Alves.
Yeah.
And put it on the far side.
How you win a game doesn't matter. You can have your plan, but
Correct.
you have a plan A, plan B, plan C. Because other teams, they analyze you. Other teams will come and try to, you know, capitalize on your mistake. Because you can see against Dortmund, it was the mistake that Sundowns did. That's how they lost the
And
game.
they force you to make mistakes.
Yeah, they
sometimes.
force you to make
Because in the
mistakes.
first half, they really pressed them very, very
Yeah.
Yeah. So very interesting. But so what's the prediction?
It's going to be a very tough one. It's going to be a very tough one. But I just feel like Sundowns, if they can bring that A game they play against Dortmund, I think Sundowns will take this one 2-1.
Sundowns 2-1.
It's always going to be difficult against this Fluminense side. Maybe Sundowns 1-0. I would love to see at least one African team going through,
Yeah.
which at the moment looks like the team with the best chance to go through is Sundowns. I just don't think that Esperance, is it Esperance?
Yeah, Esperance, they're playing Chelsea.
Chelsea is more can prove to be a stronger
This
side.
tournament has got goals.
Yeah, there's a lot of goals in it.
And today, we continue to see games of consequence. You know, decisive games. I say Sundowns 3-2.
Nice. As far as African team go to the next stage, I'm so happy.
Call,
Eh?
That's a big call. But it's possible. I mean,
Yeah.
Mutiba is shown. You can see this is a guy who has spent so many years in Europe.
Yes.
And, if he continues at this rate, he will be a big asset for them.
And Greg had said something about Peter. You can see Zizo here that the coach, I think Sundowns also, as we wrap up, because you will also know about this, Sundowns is treating this as a sort of a mini preseason type as well. And you can see that also more of the players that are playing, players are going to be there the following season.
Yeah, true.
You know, and you can see using Motiba more than Peter, even though Motiba, his contract is coming to an end at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So maybe they will with no doubt action it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is a win is critical for the coach.
Very critical. He has to win.
But he's 1-1 already. It's not enough.
Yeah. Sundowns
The
compare.
season may start with Sundowns having a new coach.
Aish. Okay.
We hope you win.
That's the predictions and also our preview for the FIFA Club World Cup. Before this tournament started, we had heard a lot from UEFA, Spanish La Liga, English Premier League, everyone opposed to it. No, this and that and that. And little did they know that this tournament is going to be a hit with the football fans. And now people are asking, why did we wait this long to have a real Club World Cup? Not where you have like 5-6 teams going to play and then you call this a Club World Cup. But this is proving to be popular, especially in terms of testing the strengths of different leagues around the world.
I think, sometimes you need to start something to see how it can go far, but, I think the complaint was like players are going to be tired from the normal leagues they play and all those stuff, and who's going to give, you get tired.
Do they look
players.
tired now?
They don't look tired because it's competitive. Because a lot of teams want to win this tournament, and so I just feel like this is one of the best tournaments. Okay, we're watching it at night. Maybe at least they can change it because our sleep have been cut off. But at the same time, we watch good football because the game with Ahly yesterday, you can see. Ahly fans, they almost dominate that stadium yesterday.
Yeah.
You can see. Imagine when they play in Cairo. So I just feel like this is a big tournament. A lot of people take pride in it in terms of the supporters coming to watch the games, and in America too, you can see most of the games is full. And there's a different thing. How they introduce the players. There's something new about this tournament. The players, they come out one by one. There's that feeling of big tournament. You have the smoke. It's new things that they're trying now, and I think going forward, maybe they can add that in the World Cup or other big tournaments.
Initially I didn't know what to make of it.
I was also fashion show or what?
What is going on here now?
Yeah.
And also I was a little bit unhappy with the fact that workloads of footballers.
Yeah.
But also you are always going to have a problem there because what do you do? Balance between workloads and players making money. Because a significant amount of this money that clubs are going to win will filter down to the players.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I'm always happy that the players are going to make money because we know that most of them, not only in South Africa, everywhere else, players file for bankruptcy after they finish playing. So on that score, it's a good thing. Americans can push anything.
Yeah.
Americans, you can give them water, they can sell water. So they are very good at that thing. And also, we have got a combination of a strong machinery of FIFA and the marketing people who also know how to sell, and the Americans who are hosting this thing and they don't want to be seen as failures. It started very slow with the fans. There was a bit worry. They even took the prices down of the tickets. But now the interest has picked up now. And you can imagine if this thing, the next editions, the tournament is played in a football nation, so to speak, maybe England or Germany or Spain or what, or even on the continent.
And that's where I'm bringing you to. Because now, all of a sudden, there's a strong interest for 2029. Brazil wants to beat. Morocco wants to beat. Spain wants to beat. I think America wants to beat again.
No.
But But also, I feel that Spain and Morocco are being greedy because they're hosting the World Cup the following year. But now you just look at the countries that want to beat, and I'm like, okay, and it came back to me to say, like, where's your minister?
The minister is busy with Formula 1 and all these kinds of things. He says there's interest in bidding for big tournaments and stuff. We have to wait and see about that. But the interest is there. There's no shortage of funding or money for this tournament. And we can imagine, this is already a success.
I was looking at the money, it's a success. The money that they give each city.
The big companies who were skeptical now to go in, I'm sure when this tournament is finished, the following morning they'll be knocking at the Infantino's door saying we want to be part of this thing. So it will continue to grow. FIFA are very good at this thing. They will force it on upon you. And I can tell you, if it goes to a traditional football country, we are going to see miracles. So you will have
a strong FIFA Club World Cup, we'll have a strong World Cup, we'll have a strong Women's World Cup. These are 3 big tournaments, and then on the sides you have got the UEFA, you have got CAF. So football, will probably be in a good space because money will filter in down into football.
Yeah, very, very interesting. I think that's the discussion on the FIFA Club World Cup. Well, talking of Club World Cup now, we bring it back here, closer to home. Orlando Pirates, I'm not going to say shocking people this week with the announcement of former Moroccan international captain Abdeslam Ouaddou, and also former Marumo Gallants head coach Mr. Ouaddou, who has also coached Loco in Benin, and also he was with AS Vita as well. Played for Fulham, played for Nancy. You just look at his history. You just look at his CV, both as a player and also as a coach. You can see. I think for us as people who are covering the game, we are purely going to speak based on what we've seen him doing in the short period he's been in the country. I looked at something like 10 matches. In 10 matches that he coached Marumo Gallants, they only lost 2 matches. And those 2 matches were against teams that finished in the top 4. 2-1 loss to Skukune, and that was a game that they should have won. Skukune scored very late, and Skukune scored against the run of play. Same goes for Stellenbosch, 1-0 as well. But first game, very first game, beats Paris 2-0. Clean sheet. A team that has been conceding. And also, another very important stat, very, very, very important stat. In those 10 matches in the league, Marumo Gallants, only once did they concede more than 1 goal. Only once they conceded more than 1 goal. And I must also say, only missed the top 8 by 1 point.
Yeah, true. I mean, for me, I was opportune to, to play against this team when he was at Gallants. After they play Pirate, they play TS Galaxy. And you can see his tactical awareness in terms of the game, how he changed the game. Because he didn't really bring new players. He just have what he has there in terms of how to tweak 1 or 2 things, and he tried to give them confidence. But tactically, you can see a coach. When a coach is good, he improves players. And most of the Gallant players, when they play against, I'm talking about the game they play after TS Galaxy, and when they play us, you can see the tactical awareness, how he maneuver some system. Because he started with 4-4-2, later on he tweaked. Because when we score 1 goal, because they were winning 2-0, when we score 1 goal, he later just closed the game, And sometimes you need to close the game. You need to win the game. He brought in a midfielder and a centre back, And he play 5 at the back. They bring Dino as a striker, so they just want to defend because it was late that time. We scored 10 minutes to the end of the game, and he knows that we are coming. In Mbule, we always try to get something there. So I can see him, and from the sideline, you can see how he speaks to the players, in terms of his personality. A good coach, you can see from his team. And I just think he needed a chance. He needed a platform, and I think he got it from Ghana.
And now he's going to Paris with better resources.
And everything's organized at Pirate. Pirate is a big institution. It's not just an ordinary team. It's a team that, just finished Champions League now, and playing, from semi-finals, they went out in semi-finals Champions League, they win the MTN8, they were there in a lot of tournaments, which, the previous coach did very well. So he's going to be under pressure to replicate all this stuff, but I think he needed a chance to. But what I've seen in him, he can do more.
I agree with Coach Greg. I don't always like to sort of just criticize the coach before the guy starts. Experience has taught us that we shouldn't do that. So Ribeiro is a good example. We were ravishing the guy, ridiculing him and all the stuff. Knowing what we know now, he's probably one of the best Orlando Pirates coaches. Trophies are there for everybody to see. The Sundowns coach, when he came, people were a little bit skeptical. The guy, 21 matches, I think he lost 1, drawn 2. Want to wrap up the league, went all the way to the final Champions League. Obviously,
not mission accomplished there, but reaching a fellow Champions League counts for something. I
Yeah.
think this guy, we have to give him a chance. I like the fact that he's young. He has got a very, very good history.
Only 46.
Working with young players. Pirates over the past few seasons now have shown huge confidence in younger players. And you can see some of the players they've signed are players who are younger, not young, but younger.
Yes.
And he has been around. He would know those players that have signed, because people have also been questioning maybe the quality of what Pirates have signed. And also you can see the signing of Mbule, Sipho Mbule.
Yes.
Talks to what he has spoken about Mbule before.
Yes.
I think he must have had quite a huge influence in Pirates signing Mbule.
Oh no, without a doubt, because Mbule looked to be more getting into the direction of Kaizer Chiefs. But I think at Kaizer Chiefs it was a matter of maybe they were not too sure, or maybe they were taking too long to clinch the deal, because they wanted to structure the deal knowing Mbule's past.
Yeah.
But I think when they were still taking too long
Pirates
to decide, that's when also Pirates finalized with their coach and also finalized the deal. And obviously, the coach loves Mbule. And you heard him in that interview that he had with Rob on 947, that he feels that there's just a way of handling this type of players like Mbule.
I've played under some players like Mbule too, in terms of Larato Chabangu, and the way Gordon Eagleson, managed Chabangu was exceptionally well, So sometimes you have these talented players, because you cannot have everything, you cannot be you can be talented and be good and off the field, because it's just fame, how you deal with the fame is the most important thing. And as a coach, he already saw something in Mbule, saying that, no, I know I can manage a player like this. And, if you have a coach like that can manage, not only Mbule, there's going to be other players too that's going to, go off the rail. It's just for you as a coach, to manage the team, because the team is more important than individual, but that individual can add value to the team, So I just feel like, for him to come out to that interview, and already now he has the player in the side, I think we're going to see what's going to go on, in terms of when the league starts, but Pirates have a really good team.
Yeah, and also, when you look, you wanted to add something, Susan?
I wanted to add something on the Mbule issue. This is his last big contract.
Actually, hold on on that. I spoke to Tandani Jumayelo, and this is what he had to say to Mbule. He's played to Mbule.
The honest truth, I still want him to play football. I'll be brutally honest with him. If he thinks it won't happen to him because he's talented, it will happen. He will never even remember what he was who. That my advice is it's just give yourself just 10 years. I'm begging with him, because it's not nice not to have a job, to lose a job because of ill discipline. You will never find a job after because of you lost the job because of your ill discipline. I'm still fighting that even today. Even if I'm clean, even if I'm present, whatever, but it's so difficult. So my advice is let him. How old is he? 20. He's from Free State.
Yes, I think 27.
He just give himself 7 years discipline. After that, he can do whatever that he wants to do.
And
very from the Free State. I think Free State we never had a talent like that. He's there, up there. I'm talking about talent, and obviously, but there's a lot of players from Free State, but with talent, no one can touch him.
But talent is not enough.
It's talent with no discipline. Imagine I see myself on, even if I'm clean, I see myself on a newspaper with Kagiso Rabada's case. I see with footballers, they show me, they show, I think, Chabu. Imagine. You don't want to be...
The Kaizer Rabada case, is it something that you've been looking at? Because there's been a lot of comparisons made about it, and especially even in terms of the sentencing, in fact, the judgment as well.
Times I've been tagged, and then people asking me, what do I think? There's nothing that I can do. It's the same as there's footballers that still take, that I knew then, but I never said anything. It's not my case to win. You know, like me, I always compare myself. Like when they talk about Sipho, players, that I always think of Zong. I always think of Zong. He never achieved anything. He was better than us, but we achieved more than him. We did what we did that. But he was never. He was just a player that we always talk with. So why? Jabupule. I can mention them. So like why? And it's like let me just. He's not perfect. He can drink, but he needs to take football serious. Imagine if Angasachol for 2 months. They take the car first. If you don't recover, what are you gonna do? If you don't have support system, what are you gonna do? You'll find someone dead because of stuff like that. Just give yourself 7 years. Like you do your football.
So there, Tandani talks about something similar, that you must just commit to the next 7 years.
Yeah.
He says, just give yourself the next 7 years, and then the next chapter. So I think listening to that, and you are not going to take. Fortunately, this is someone who comes from his hood.
Yeah.
You know, in the Free State.
Yeah.
Followed the same path, whereas I scouted by SuperSport United.
Yeah.
And his career ended prematurely.
Yeah.
Obviously through the drug ban that he
Yeah.
got. So you're not going to get, because you can see what he's saying here, that it is not nice, because remember now he left SuperSport.
Yeah.
Was on Sundowns, and the way Sundowns fights for their players who are still contracted to them. But the way Sundowns didn't even fight for him, they're like, no.
Yeah.
Want you to leave. Skukune had enough.
Yeah.
So now, if you can mess up the Orlando Pirates contract, where else can you go?
Yeah.
Because you can see, Chiefs doesn't have anyone coming close to Mbule's talent.
No.
But the way they took so long
Yeah.
to clinch the deal tells you that I know there was so much.
They were not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know whether to go or not to go. Even though I think he could have been a plus for them, and also just to lift the mood of the fans.
Yes.
He's a player who gets people talking and create a good vibe.
Yeah.
Obviously, they'll put him on programs and for him to be fit and
Because-
those kinds of things. When he start cooking, as they call him, Master Chef, you'll see
Because
something.
a fit Mbule,
He's a
an
very good
on-song
footballer.
Mbule, just like last season, Coach Hugo Bruce wanted him in the team.
Yeah.
I
He's a
think
good
it was
footballer.
just a matter of those few episodes that were then reported, and then
Yeah.
the coach backed down.
Backed up.
But as Coach Hugo Bruce,
Yeah.
he wants this boy. back
He's
in
a,
the
he's,
shot.
a, he's, a, he's a very, very, very good footballer. He's a very good footballer. He frustrates everyone. I mean,
Yeah.
even if you don't like the club that he plays for, but
Yeah.
you like him, you want to watch him.
But I just
He's
want
a typical South African footballer. And I just hope that he really look into the mirror and introspect, grow up a little bit. I don't know how many people rely on him back home. Think about the people who relies on him for survival,
true.
for himself, and also, it's sad to see people who are talented don't exploit the talent that God has given them.
True.
It's really, really a shame. He needs to come to the party, and if he does well, he can actually help Pirates to challenge Sundowns.
because I mean, what Chumayelo is saying there, that they always talk about Zongo, but that's where they finished. That Zongo was this top player, but there's nothing to show.
No,
Yeah.
nothing.
But just going back to Ouaddou, tactically, what have you identified about him that Pirates fans can look forward to?
Can change situation, and going to Pirates, you see a big team, most of the, smaller teams playing against Pirates, most of the teams are going to stay low block. So how you dismantle that low block is more important. And I see him as a team that, as a coach, that can maneuver a lot of, situations. So you have a lot of tactics. I think, his strengths, which, suit him at Pirates. He play with wingers, and you can see at Gallant, their wingers, they were very, effective in terms of, you can dribble one-on-one, because even though the player, the left back or the right back have a cover, you still have a player, a winger that can, maneuver and bring situation out. So for him, tactically, he can switch to any tactics. And during the game against TS Galaxy, when I watch him live, I was with him at the touchline, I saw him change a lot of situations, So Pirates should expect a coach that is well, he knows what he's doing, I just think they need to give him chance. He can change a lot of situations. He can play three at the back. He can, depends on how the situation, in the game, So, and you have a lot of teams that go to Orlando, stay low block, real low block, and how you, get away from that low block. That's the most important. As a coach, for you to get that situation and get a goal or win that game, you're a top coach. And as I can see in his tactics, what I saw against TS Galaxy and other games, I can see he can do that, So he has something in him that he can help Pirate with.
Because just to add, I think one thing you must know is that his life will never be the same again.
When he does well.
Yeah, well, both.
But who were discussing that? Having been in the press conference with him, we were discussing with another colleague that we're looking forward to his pressers because his pressers is what you want to hear as a journalist.
And he unpacks the game. He talks tactics, and some of these coaches sometimes when you ask them direct tactical questions, they get emotional, especially when they've lost matches. I hope he doesn't change. He continues to be that. What I mean when I say his life will never be the change again. Pirates is a big club.
Massive.
Correct.
He's going to feel the pressure. Pirates is one team where even if you win but don't win well, you still have people.
But so remember, he comes from AS Vita. He's been at Kinshasa.
He will know.
In a game between AS Vita or TP Mazembe or AS Vita and DC Motema Pembe.
So he will know a thing about pressure.
Secondly, over 60 matches for the Moroccan national team. Playing in Rabat, in Casablanca, in Tangier, in Marrakesh, in packed stadia. And captaining that Moroccan national team, being at the AFCONs,
Premiership,
playing for Fulham in the English Premier League, playing in French Ligue 1, playing in Qatar, and so I feel that he's well travelled, is well experienced in the space. Yes,
he should be able to navigate.
Yes, might not have won big titles or have longer spells, but I feel that him coming into the country, he had a mission.
He has a mission, and he needed a platform. As sometimes a coach just needs one team, for him to, and you can see where Gallant was right at the bottom, close to the bottom, close to getting to relegated, and all of a sudden he came in and turned over everything, and then he got to top 8, and with him again, I just think that, giving this chance at Pirates, as you said, it's a massive team. It's not like Gallant. It's a team that you expect to do well, expect to win and win well. You don't just lose. If you lose, it's a big, massive pressure on you. You can't just lose 1 or 2, 3 games. It's a big pressure on you. And you can win, as you said earlier, you can win, but win well, So, I just feel like, he is in the right team in terms of what I saw at Marumo Gallant, with the players he has there. And at Pirate, I just feel like when the league starts or when during the preseason, he can start well, because that's where how the weekend is going to be like. Because on Friday, whether it's a good weekend. So I
mean, the fact that also, I think the club is also showing a lot of willingness to support him. The fact that just a day after being unveiled, one of the players they had spoken about, done.
He's
and also Nemta Jela already signed, going to Orlando Pirates. A player that Masindi, he talks about Masindi a lot. Masindi, this, and Nemta Jela is one of the players that also he's worked around to refine. You look at a potential like Butuma. I mean, Butuma, he came in here. We were playing against Mozambique. Butuma was on point. So you can see Pirates in the direction. If you read their statement, that they've got their vision. And also here, as we come out of this Ouaddou topic, this also tells you that, even Moremi for that matter. This tells you, as you come out of that of this topic, it also tells you that yes, Pirates will end up with Ouaddou, but it doesn't mean that they're necessarily negotiating with Ouaddou only. But in terms of the person who meets the criteria. And also even aligns with everything, whether the composition of the technical team or whether the type of players, because last week here with Sipho, actually, we had a topic, at least now we are here, we're also discussing the issue of who signs the players, the coach of the club.
Depends on the club you're going to. Like a team like Sundowns, Pirates and Chiefs, I just feel sometimes the club sign the players. Because they sign, because he's not there already, Pirates were signing players. But at the same time, when they got him now, they signed what he wanted. So you have to meet halfway. Sometimes you meet halfway. Because with Mbule, it's a typical example, because they know that he likes the players, and Pirates got it for him.
Okay.
But at the same time, a big team like Pirates, a coach cannot come on because that team stays.
Okay,
Yeah.
done. Okay, a composition of the technical team?
A team like Pirates, sometimes if you have done well for them, the analyst guys there, the assistant coach, he has his own say. I think for me, I know he's gonna bring at least one person alongside him.
So you cannot come to Pirates and say, you don't want anyone, you want.
No, you cannot say that. Pirates is too big for you, brother.
Okay, I think case done. Story done.
Pirates is too big for you.
So
Yeah, but at least let him bring maybe one assistant.
No, he's a come with one.
no,
one person.
you guys are not getting me. So I think in terms
No,
of
we hear you that Rulani was the one who maybe could not go
The
there.
Pirates is too big.
He wanted his people there.
A team like Pirates, they're too big for that because it's an institution. It's a big, massive team, and people that you're coming to meet, they have been doing well. You understand? They have been doing well, So you can just have to accept. But you can bring one or two people alongside,
Yeah. Well, before we go to the WAFCON, because Banyana Banyana squad selection was done yesterday, but before we go there, so let's finish from the other side of Soweto to the other side of Soweto. As we talk about, let's talk about because Chiefs will be playing in the CAF Confed next season, and the only part that I know that I think they've clinched the part where they've got a women's team partner that they're signing with. I see the dates are out for the CAF Champions League and CAF Confed preliminary matches already.
Yeah, before they go there, you need to boost this team.
Ish.
Because they've released one or two, and you need to strengthen that side.
They continue to do it one by one.
Yeah, every day there's that thing on Twitter.
One player is gone.
Yeah.
One player is not ready.
Yeah, so I can just think from the top of my head now. If I was the technical director at the Chiefs, I would really push for Pasadena. There's another player who will add a lot of value at Chiefs. It's Leboham boy. He's going to be available now. I know apparently he's got a shoulder injury, but he will heal. You work on him, get him in shape, he will help you.
Are you sure it's going to be available?
Well, I doubt if Sundowns will give him a contact. I really doubt.
No, but you know what Sundowns has been doing? Especially to some players that... I mean, let's take the case of Terence Mashiko. Terence Mashiko was supposed to go and join Chiefs in January. But Sundowns, even now, Sundowns has even given, they've even ticked the option, even now. And Terence is behind Lunga. Terence is behind Aubrey, Tiwani. And there's even possible talk now of Pasadena coming. So do they really need 5 left backs?
No, they don't. That's where now the people at Chiefs need to
up their game.
You need to up game and go and speak to the club.
Yeah.
Do deals. That's what
Yes.
you do.
No, apparently
They've already lost on Sipho Mbule.
Yeah, apparently. Okay, Chiefs when it comes to transfer fees, but also maybe Sundowns is asking a lot of money. I don't know. But so now the issue. In fact, it's like this issue of Igodaro. I read about Igodaro as well. You know, Igodaro is still a Sundowns player. He's still contracted to Sundowns.
Yeah.
You know, so he was on loan at Amazon.
Yeah.
And here, Sundowns, remember there's nothing that Sundowns, when they take out a player on loan, they freeze his contract.
Yeah. When you come back, start again.
You start again, you understand? So, what does this tell you?
The other thing.
So it means that those players, in fact, another player that they are also rumored to be signing, Velepai. Velepai, okay, I think let me let you continue because there's another explanation there. It's not a straightforward deal.
Yeah. The other thing that they must be doing, they must be working very closely with them. Because there's going to be a jumble sale there. That club is going to go. You can go and get 3-4 players that Supersport and take them there. Because Supersport,
on that point,
there's going to be a jumble sale there.
On that point, what you're talking about, let's listen to Tyson when he says, as players, they are concerned.
It is, for sure, it is. Obviously, we also see the rumors and everything. You know, you look at the players playing in a team, like they are comforting Joburg, you know, and you hear all these rumors of Plum and everything. You can't relax with those news. I think for us is we end of season now. You know, we will be going in a few weeks now. And I think also for the youngsters that we have, like this will come as a learning curve and an experience. This is what happens when we don't really kill games in the first round of the league. And obviously, yes, we are going back. And I think for now, as players, we just need to focus on getting back for the preseason, and then we hear from the management, we take it from there. Definitely, not only as well, like even Neo Rapo, you know, all of them. And now I think it's their time now, and we need to keep the history of this team so that Boazola, Neo Rapo is already training with the first team, but Boazola, what they've done for our national team at that level, you know, I think now it's time for them to come train with the first team, you know, and make sure that we secure all those futures, you know, not only our Mazola and Neo, but also our DDC, our GDL, all the youth of Supersport United.
When you hear the captain of the team,
he doesn't know what's happening. I know they said they've given them a day to come back. We'll have to wait till that day when they come back, what's going to happen. Because there's a talk that now that the club may be gone now. So if you are at Kaizer Chiefs, you work very closely with the people of Supersport to say, guys, we have identified 1, 2, 3.
There's good
first
and young players like Neo Rapo there.
But I think it's going to go overseas.
It's going.
But there's a number of very good guys. This boy who was from Pirates from Maritzburg, Sipho Ndlovu. You can add very good. So you need to. You need to be smart about. I'm not saying they are not smart. I mean, people must not get me wrong. You need to be smart about how you do these things.
But sometimes you need to test your market. You need to test your ability. You know, in terms of Supersport, I mean, you have to. I mean, you can afford a player there. You know, but at the same, going back to Sundowns, you know, having this lot of players. You see, we're talking about the Club World Cup now, and they have a lot of players. They're still playing 12 players. You know, so what's the need? You know, deprive the national team to be stronger because you have a lot of left backs there that can play in any team with their eyes closed, you know. So I just think for Chiefs, they need to come out to the market aggressively, you know, knowing what they are going to compete, because they are going to play in, you know, continental tournament. They are going to compete in the local league. They are competing with the league. So as Chiefs, you know, sometimes you need to show your power, you know, in terms of how you go aggressively in the market to get to
that's what they must do.
The players that I think I know, for instance, that they've signed now is Thabo Munyane from Paris. And
Pasika Mako of the side. Pasika
Mako, yes, as well. And then there was also confirmation today. Mto wrote about Ethan Chislett, a UK-based midfielder. I've also heard about him a lot. In fact, I think this is the player who was supposed to have signed for Skokule towards the end of last season. You know, so now he's here, signing for.
But for me, it's good to sign these players from overseas. They're very good. They're going to add value. But with Chiefs caliber, I think your players that have already make impact in the league.
Correct.
Mbule, them. You know these players that they can add
from
goals.
Super
You know, Super Sport. I think those ones will hit the ground running. You know, we have that scenario where Chiefs signed
They
players
had
from
Buccaneer,
New Zealand.
those guys.
You know, so it takes time for them to adjust. But if you have a player that you
That's
can
used
see,
to the league.
used to because this league is not an easy league.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
And
Because
also, you ask yourself, that Chile, obviously, we can't really be unfair on him. He needs to get here and show us what he can do on our conditions.
Who?
This boy they've sent from England.
okay.
Comfort Cup there.
Yeah.
Can he go to Ouagadougou and get the
Nigeria,
result?
go to Nigeria to,
Yes.
to any-
Why did Sundowns struggle to win the?
It's because of this other
You know, you can see even now with Sundowns, the
Yeah.
link with Mayele. I will not move away from, if I was Sundowns,
Yeah.
I will not move away from that space of Mayele.
No, you stay there. You stay there because he's in a, it's typical. I think with that, Sundowns can still, contest for the Champions League. With him, you have a season in the league. You can talk about 15 goals, him alone. Talking about Champions League that he has experience. You're talking about maybe 9 goals, from the beginning, So you have a player there they need to fight for. No matter how, Sundowns have the finance to get the player, except they don't want.
Yeah, that's why I felt that at Chiefs first they're not being realistic. If they thought that their club was going to go for Mayele, he's playing the Champions League, he can't come down to Cape Confed. And also, just for starters, the salary of Mayele. Oh, okay. If Chiefs can't pay transfer fees here, how are they going to pay $2 million US?
No, they can't do
to Pyramids.
For Chiefs, it's very good for them, as we said earlier. Local markets here. Players that have established themselves in the local league and the international player in terms of they have played in the national team. Typically Mbule was a typical example. They let it sleep, but they can't let others sleep again. They
But I think Chiefs. The biggest problem is Chiefs that I've heard from people is Chiefs, they take too long to clinch deals.
A good example is Sipho Mbule.
Yes.
They were at some stage the front runners to sign Sipho Mbule.
Yes, they take too long to clinch deals, even just easy deals that they can clinch. They take too long.
Yeah.
So they will always be on the back foot when it comes to that. And I think even in terms of their approach, it's good to go for potentials, but also you must address the issue of quality.
Thank you.
In positions.
Yeah.
And especially if you're going to go, because it's not nice to see a big brand like Chiefs finishing outside the top 8 2 seasons in two consecutive seasons.
Everybody think it's normal. It's not normal. You win the you win the cup. Cup is a once-off.
Mackenzie won a cup, man. They're new in the league.
Yeah, it's a once-off. So
come on.
But league really gauge you where you stand.
Yes.
Your position of the league really, that's how you play throughout the whole season. 30 games doesn't lie, So for me, Chiefs, I think, Chiefs will be dominating in terms of the league, competing with the Sundowns, Pirates, because they're the big brand,
Yes.
As we talk about Pirates too, playing the Champions League, dominating in the cup, and even head-to-head with Sundowns, Chiefs should be doing that, not ending 9 and winning a cup and think that is okay. It's not okay.
Coach, currently now teams are playing the Club World Cup because they finish first or second in the league and playing the Champions League.
Yeah.
That's where a big team like Chiefs is supposed to play. That's their space.
There's not going to be any excuse again. Season going to start, a new season going to start. Get the player you need to get, prepare very well, because everyone starts afresh. So you're not going to come end of the season and saying that, no, let's give chance, let's do this. No, start afresh. And the players they have there, players, they have a lot of good players. For me, I think Chiefs have a lot of good players. But, for you to compete, you need to bring more new players in the dressing room for the table to be shaken, so that people can know that it's not an easy place. Chiefs is a massive team. They should, when I was in Nigeria, people asked about Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, Sundowns you can't even talk about because they are consistently there.
I was in Cairo.
Yeah, so
in fact, throughout Egypt, even in Ismailia, in Alexandria, they just talk about Sundowns.
Yeah.
They just talk about Sundowns. Yes, Pirates also as well. Chiefs, it's only those who are very close to working in football.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the men on the street don't.
They don't know.
So I think seriously,
it's time for them to wake up.
Yes.
The
because now
suffered a lot.
Yes. So now we saw the issue around Cape Town Spurs. They lost a second case in the arbitration, but another player that I see has been linked with the Chiefs there, Velepai. People assume that because when they are relegated, he becomes
automatically
a free player. That is not the case. That is not the case, according to what I've heard about the rules and also what I've seen as well. Because if you are contracted,
you must honor the contract.
Exactly. Even beyond. Because remember, you have not been registered yet in the amateur. In the amateur
you still have a contract with the team that's relegated.
And also, if people go back to the case of Ducks, one of the things that was said there, because I think there was an argument from Chiefs side that no, because he's playing in an amateur league, or he's also an amateur, that if a club can prove that they are remunerating a player,
they've developed that player.
Then there must be compensation for that clearance. And that is not we're not talking about a FIFA development fee for that one. So that tells you that Velepai, if a club wants to sign Velepai, they must still go and negotiate with Cape Town Spurs and get that contract.
Sure.
And get that clearance.
But sometimes you need to leave the southern region and try the west, and
no, of course.
Go
No,
to the north,
No. Look,
because you're playing Confederation Cup.
So
you're not going to play every
Look
time.
at Kaizer Chiefs. They've got the deputy or vice president of the African Club Association. Okay. By the way, Sister Jess, you promised to come here, so we're still waiting. So
please ask Jess.
So I think step by step. What do you want to bring here? Enyimba?
No, Romo Stars.
Stars.
They have been consistent. They came second last season. This season they won the league. I think they deserve to come and compete.
We had you, Oga. Chineke. Just quickly, now let's move to the Banyana Banyana squad. I announced yesterday. Banyana Banyana have also departed for Morocco. Zozo, what do you make of this team? I think most of the players are players who are in Morocco as they go back to defend their title there.
Yeah, more or less coach went for continuity there. Strong team. The one player who caught my eye, I just don't know if Refulejane will be like fully match ready. She came back from a long injury and she hasn't played enough competitive football. I think she played a few matches for TS Galaxy Women, and she took part in those 2 friendlies in Pretoria recently. But she's the captain of the team. We asked the coach in that camp in Pretoria as to whether she's going to pick her in the final squad. Her answer was very simple, that she's the captain, which was very clear that she'll be picked. But defending champions, they have a target on their back, and it's not going to be easy, because obviously if you look around the continent, other teams have been improving, in particular Morocco will be easy, especially at home. And the other disadvantage that we are missing our star striker, Tempe Kgatlana.
No, he saw ahead. He saw that, no, this team cannot defend. So he's coming. So he said, no, I don't want to go.
You don't want to be embarrassed.
You already see ahead. You saw that. No. This time he's not going to defend.
Carissa, when you were in Egypt, he was talking like this.
No. This tournament again. No,
this is what he was saying. Nigeria's going to kill South Africa, blah, 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 blah. And then, you know what happened.
But I mean, for the squad, basically, they retained almost 14 players. That's the last edition, But you have to, in a tournament like this, new players are going to be born in terms of how they perform in the tournament. And for me, it's good for you to have new talent, new energy in terms of the national team. You can't just have the same. But it's a personal reason for her to withdraw. We have to respect that, So, but yeah, this is going to be one of the best tournaments. I think, the WAFCON is going to be one of the best tournaments we're going to have.
The other issue is around Hilda Makhaya. She didn't play in the last 2 friendly matches. She was undergoing treatment. I think it must have been a hamstring or something like that. But I think the coach is confident that she will be fully fit by the time the tournament starts. If we don't have Tembi, and for some reason, God forbid, Hilda is not maybe fully fit, Oh, that will be a bit of a problem.
The attack, ne?
The attack
The
will pretty
will
much
be-
leave Jermaine as the trusted.
Jermaine also going to her last tournament.
Last
as well.
tournament. I do leave her pretty much as our
But
truly
looking at the
reliable
composition of the squad, you can see that the coach is already preparing for the next phase of this team without this golden generation that is being phased out. In fact, some of them are phasing themselves out already. And the tricky part about it is that next year, again, it's the last. Next year, the tricky part is
There's a WAFCON
next year is another WAFCON, and now you must qualify for the World Cup from that WAFCON. So you've got to be very clever.
Yeah.
So maybe introduce some of the players now. My only worry now is that we are not exporting players to bigger leagues in the same way that Zambia, Nigeria, and also some of the countries like Ghana are doing, like we used to do before.
I've always said it sort of concerns me that we don't have players in the top clubs in Spain. We don't have players. We've got a few now in Mexico, which I think the Mexicans have been very, very
because it's because of the money.
About the women's football there. It looks like it's a strong league. We don't have players in England, WSL, which for me I think currently is the toughest women's league in the world. You are right. We need to keep on importing top players. Because those players, when they are there, when they come back to the national team can only be stronger. So it's one area which is of concern, not only for the women, but even for the men. We are not importing players to Europe, which remains a concern for us as a country.
Yeah. Well, we talk the WAFCON tournament taking place in Morocco starting on the 5th of July. As you can see, the teams there, the three groups to look forward to. Just briefly, Oga, I was part of a webinar that took place, and it had Pity Banyana Banyana was not represented there. The player was supposed to represent Banyana, didn't arrive. But we had Barbara Banda, the great Barbara Banda, the reigning CAF Women's Footballer of the Year from Zambia. She will be playing in her first WAFCON, by the way. Remember, there was some controversy about her missing the last edition, but she's back now, coming to play this tournament for the first time. There was also Jennifer Kujo as well from Ghana. There's also Salman from Botswana, and we had Rashidat from Nigeria.
The best player.
The best player. Top player. Actually, for you guys, this one is a very important one because the Super Falcons, this could be title number 10.
Yeah, I mean, for the 12 times, the tournament's going for the 13 now. They're going to play now. It could be, but they have to perform. You can have the best player you can have, but if they don't perform, there's nothing. A team like Zambia, people should be scared of them because they are the one that beat Nigeria at the last WAFCON. They beat Nigeria in the third place, and they came third, And a team like Ghana too, they haven't won it, but they've been in the final. Botswana, quarterfinalists. Nigeria, they have been there, but now, you have the pedigree, but you have to perform on the pitch. That's where South Africa came, defending champion. They won the last edition, so they're going to defend it. And going to defend it, they're going to feel the pressure because Nigeria have been feeling that for the past nine tournaments, in terms of the WAFCON, So, but for me, Nigeria is one of the teams I'm tipping to win the tournament, So, yeah, but it's going to be a great one.
Yeah. Well, in keeping with the spirit of building up to the tournament, we'll return again with this next week. But for this time, let's hear from the four players looking forward to the tournament talking about their groups, their nations, and also their opponents.
I think the preparations are going on so well, and playing Morocco is not an easy game, and moreover, we are playing them at home. They've got all the supports, and they have the 12th player on the pitch, and we know, but we're trying by all means, trying everything possible that the first game is always important in the tournament, so we're looking forward for that game, and our aim is to go through first. We are taking each and every game at a step. So we're looking at that game very seriously, and we are taking it seriously because we know what it takes to win the first game in the tournament. So that's our target, and we are aiming for the win on that day. I think, a bit challenging, changing of coaches, but I think I and the team, we're responding so well to the new coach and getting, excited about it. And we're learning something different each and every day as a team. It won't be easy, like I always say, but with the coming in of the new coach, I think, he's trying to make a powerhouse, trying new different players, which we know, like she's mentioned the names, looking at Frida and Messi and all these young players. I think the response is so well during training sessions. I think trainings are going on so well during training sessions. The response of the team, we are all together, we're moving together as a team. This is why I said we are looking forward for the first game, because the first game is always shows how far we're gonna go in the tournament. It gives opportunities to everybody here, it will be the world that will be watching. So it gives more opportunity to more Africans to get exposed and play global football. They're getting exposed. So it's very important. And to the young generation that are coming up, a lot of people are looking up to us. So the way we are doing things right now, it's going to change everything for us. This is our time. This is our moment. Like she said, we have to shine and raise our countries higher, flags higher. I think that question, as players, our mind and mental, we just have to go with whatever comes up because we're not the one like organizing all these situations. So I think on my side, we just have to be ready as teams and pick it up, whatever stands on that day, whatever changes, because it's beyond our control. So I think we just have to be mentally ready for everything, whatever comes up. So I think that's my view. We can't change anything from that because it all belongs to organizers.
First of all, I would say I don't think people should count Ghana out because as much as we've missed some tournaments for a couple of years, it doesn't mean that we haven't been working towards all those years to get back in and prove ourselves again. And definitely, like you said, people don't count us in, but I believe in what we've built the last few years. You know what I mean? So we've been working, and like you said, we've missing some few players, but the new young ones that they've stepped in, they've also showed they've had opportunities to show what they can also bring to the team. So as much as we missing players, there's also players that who are ready to step in and work. As for the players, we've been having conversation in every single time because we know how this means for each one, and we're all ready to take the battle. We're all ready to step in and give everything that we got to get Ghana to the line. And as much as in terms of expectation, we want to focus on game by game, and we want to focus on how much we can take everyone step at a time. And also in our group, I don't see any team as being less in it because in this tournament like this, there's no less team. The best teams are the ones who are prepared. So as much as you prepared and as much as that you're ready and your players are ready to step in, you can be able to get to the finishing line. I'm excited to meet all the teams as well as my teammate. They want to play South Africa, Botswana, and Mali as well. So I think it's going to be great for us. But I feel like people should expect that Ghana is going to come in and show a different side of Ghana that they've never seen before. So obviously, South Africa is definitely one of the best teams, in the world. They've been consistent like all other countries. So the beef is still there. We're never taking the beef away. It's going to be a great game to play against them. If you look at it, the way they play, the way we also play. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm sure my teammates are looking forward to that. Like Barbara said, every first game is very important. So as I said before, it's good for us to come back, and it's it's on us to announce ourselves and then put a stamp on it, like Ghana is back in and we're not going back. So that's our goal and that's our aim. So definitely looking forward to that. So hopefully South Africa is also ready and it's going to be a great game. It means so much for every single one, whether you're on the field or you're off the field. It's amazing to be part of it, to be part of what is happening. And I think this not only give us that we are playing, but it's also for the next generation, the people that are watching us back home, and also for the people that are watching over the world, like people that they don't know. I think this tournament will expose a lot of people, to different continents, different coaches and all of that. So for me, I always tell the girls that this is the time to shine. Just be you, play, be free and enjoy every moment, because those times never comes back, but you don't know, this might be your last time or this might be your first time. So I always tell the girls, like, embrace every opportunity that you get. And I think this is going to be the biggest one, that after this, a lot of people are going to look at Africa not the same way, because like she said, if you look at soccer background, you know what I mean? Nigeria has always been there, every Olympics, all of that. And that's encouraging for every country that wants to be like, okay, we want to also be there. Now watch Zambia, they went to, Olympics, and then just changed the whole Zambia club. Ghana has been in and out of it. We're still pushing. South Africa also been there, like so many teams now. Senegal, all of these teams are coming. Tanzania. So I'm just proud that African is now getting noticed and African is getting the chance to show what is produced, So it all comes to us players. And I think everybody is going to show up and carry the flag of Africa.
Well, excited to be in this tournament, and with all due respect to all my sisters competing in this tournament, I mean, it's not going to be an easy tournament to say, we're going for Mission X, we're all positive about it for the tournament, but it's, as my sisters already said, it's not going to be an easy one. It's a very big tournament, so a lot of improved team, a lot of good talented athletes, the likes of Barbara Banda, the likes of Jennifer, and a lot of players, So we are not saying, it's going to be an easy cruise, no, but the most important thing for us as a team, as a Falcons team, is to just go up, show up, and be the best version of ourselves in that tournament and show what we've got as a team. And to your question, the team is doing their best. We've been preparing well. We had a friendly game recently against Cameroon and now against Portugal. Next, we have a friendly game against my sister here. We are preparing. We're preparing. The team is work in progress. It's not perfect yet, but we still keep putting every process together to make sure we have a formidable team for the tournament.
It means so much to us and my teammates, because like looking at our football background, it's not as the same as Nigeria. They've been here so many times. They've been in the biggest stage for so many times. So for us, it means a lot, because it's time to like show the world what we are capable of, from a country that had nothing, that started like with nothing. Being here, it means so much. It creates more opportunities for us. It creates an opportunity for that little young girl who dreams to play soccer, to show her that it's actually possible to be here and actually play as a young girl. So for me, it means a lot, to be honest. Like I said, we're looking forward to doing our best and coming to Morocco and win go to the final. That's like our main goal. I feel like the first WAFCON coming in as debutants, like it gave most of the girls an opportunity to like go play outside. I think now we have like 8 players who are playing outside. We have 2 in Turkey and 2 in the US. So that also just gave us like an opportunity. So coming back again, it's like I said, means a lot more to each and every one of us, so we can have more players outside and just showcase what we have. But the most important part is just like the mental part of it. Just in as much as we come in as underdogs, but I feel like we do have the capabilities. You just have to believe, and if you manifest it, it just becomes easier for you. Mentally, we just have to do the right things. If you work hard, you show up every day at training, like everything just becomes so easy for you. Like you cannot, like Barbara said earlier, you cannot like control anything that you can't control, So right now we're just taking each day as it comes, just to like focus on our first game, which is against Algeria. Honestly, there's no pressure. I think all in all, it just keeps us more motivated. Like if you're not there in the start, you always want to push hard to be like the likes of Zambia. I mean, they're in the Kosovo region, the likes of South Africa. It means like we can also go there and actually go compete in the World Cup or go through to the finals. So for us, it's just a motivation and just go there and have fun, just show people what we are capable of.
Well, gentlemen, looks like we're going to be in for a very exciting WAFCON. And I think African football has been growing. And this time around in Morocco, which seems to be the designated host country of football on this continent, we should be seeing a spectacle again.
There's been growing leaps and bounds. Women's football is it's very, very beautiful to watch. It's competitive. And I think kudos to the people who have invested money and time into the women's game.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the World Cup in France, about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Top stuff. I hardly missed the match day.
Yeah.
It continues to improve. This WAFCON will be the same. And over the last while now, also concerted effort has been made by CAF to make sure that it's appealing.
Yeah.
So they are no longer playing in stupid grounds and all that kind of stuff. They are really putting all the efforts to make sure that the grounds are right. We just hope a little bit more, maybe men also go to the stadium and support, so that they play in front of full stadiums. But the quality of the game of the football is
you want to meet Super Falcons again?
Of course.
Of course. When
you can wake me up at 12 o'clock midnight and give me the Nigeria.
Yeah.
I will deal with
them. To those who are saying, no, we don't have Tembi Khatlana, we won the last WAFCON without Tembi Khatlana.
Yeah, she got injured, I think, in the first match or something like that.
Yes. So we are coming there.
Caristo, I'm praying, I don't know if it is possible, but praying for Nigeria, South Africa in the final. Let's go.
Let's go.
I don't want to say anything this time around. Last time I say on 20, but let me just see how it goes. I'm hoping with the players Nigeria, they have in terms of the older players and the new generation, I think they need to do well, So I just hope they can perform well. But South Africa is a good team.
Bring the Super Falcon. We are ready.
Yeah, as we say,
Jambo Africa.